Hey there, internets. This is Kyle coming to you with another edition of the My Business Launch Secrets YouTube channel. Hope you're all doing well today. Today I will talk about, number one, I have made some progress in the business because I just finished recording, I guess, what will be episode number one of the new PhD Secrets podcast slash YouTube video stuff, right? And honestly didn't put like a ton of thought into it, but I just figured like shit. I mean, I've kind of been dragging my feet a little bit lately, and had the idea that I want to do the podcast, and worked all the mechanics of getting the site set up and all that stuff on the logistics, but hadn't really sat down to kind of plan out I have a general plan of. I have a list. I'll say I have a list of ideas of podcast episodes, but that's all it is. It's just a list of random thoughts. One line kind of where I'll talk about this or that or whatever, and not a clear kind of how would I structure such a thing. What would kind of the flow of the episode sort of be and all that, and that was really kind of tripping me up in terms of just getting started. And again, one thing I'm trying to get past is my tendency to not take action until I feel like I've kind of got it all figured out. And in this game of entrepreneurship, that's really a significant what's the right word, hindrance in this whole process, because the name of the game here is you got to put in the reps in order to get good at what you're doing. And if you're just so hung up on whatever sort of minor detail, and so you just don't even get started, then you're never going to put in the reps. And then you have this fallacy of believing that, well, if I just spend all the time planning and preparing and working out all the details of what I'm going to do, then the first time I really push that weight, it's just going to be, my muscles are just going to be so fat and huge. I'm just going to be able to bench 1,000 pounds because I've planned everything. But of course, that's total bullshit. The only reason you build muscle and you get good at what you're doing is by, working your way up incrementally. And so you just gotta like go. You just gotta move. Russell Brunson, for a while on his podcast, kept bringing up this concept of ready, fire, aim, which I think is the name of a book by somebody. Which at first I heard him say that and it didn't really mean anything to me. But I was thinking but then if you think about the words themselves, ready, fire, aim, you're like, oh wait, that's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to ready, aim, and then fire. So the point of saying ready, fire, aim is you just need to get something put together, fire it out there, and then, kind of correct as you need to once you start getting some kind of feedback from your audience, and then, take another shot, right? We get so hung up on trying to be sure we've got the perfect aim, so on and so forth. So multiple ways you can skin that analogy, but in any case, I just figured, hey, why not just start today? Because I'm never going to have it all figured out. And I sort of even got to thinking over the past couple of days, oh, should I wear something in particular? Should I wear the same thing every day? And what should I look like? Should it be kind of professional, suit sort of looking thing, which I really don't want to do because I hate wearing suits. Should I do the cowboy hat sort of thing? Not this hat, but an actual cowboy hat, which I have in some of my pictures that I'm putting on the website because I just like that hat and I think it's cool and whatever. So should I always wear that as kind of being a symbol of whatever? But I just didn't really want to. I don't know what the right answer is and all that, I guess, from a branding perspective, but rather than sit around and again think about that and plan it all out, it's just what Why don't I just do something? It's probably going to suck. It will suck. I'm sure it sucks. At least I have something I can at least start to put out there and start to get some kind of feedback. Maybe I'll get 2 views or 1 view or 1,000 views. I don't know. But it'll be something. And as long as I'm consistent with it, then I'm bound to get better at it over time, right? That's, of course, like the whole motivation of why I'm even doing this particular YouTube channel, is just to try to make a little progress every day so that I can start to get better at doing what I'm doing. So we talked about the famous brand new YouTube studio here. One thing I was setting up for the podcast, because I would like to have the podcast, excuse me. Oh, jeez. I would like to, excuse me. Okay, apologize for my esophageal difficulties there. In any case, what was I talking about? The YouTube studio, and I wanted to have a multi-cam setup for the PhD Secrets podcast, just to have a little bit of a, cut between 2 different cameras, so it's not always just watching this exact camera angle for 15 minutes, which of course is what I do for this channel, because again, I don't really care, and people only watch it for like a minute anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But with the business podcast, I would like people to stick around and watch the whole thing, so I figured, why not do what all the pros do and kind of try to mix up the shots a little bit. So I was thinking of using my phone as a camera, because I've got a updated iPhone, recent edition iPhone, and it's got good cameras on it. I already have this one webcam, which can do like HD quality. And yeah, to be clear, I've not gone out and bought no freaking $1,000 digital SLR, XLR, whatever they are, Sony or whatever camera. I just have a webcam that I've had for a long time, but it's a pretty decent one, and I have a nice iPhone, which, like I said, does pretty good video. So, and I was just figuring, well, I'll just hit record on my phone, which is over here. That's why I'm pointing that direction, and I'll use my computer to record the webcam as I'm doing for these videos right here. But a neat trick I learned today, I don't remember even how I stumbled upon this, but is that you can record multiple cameras all from your computer, including, at least in my case, because I have a Mac computer with an iPhone, they're like connected somehow or whatever. So when I'm recording a movie or recording a video on my Mac computer, it recognizes my phone. It can pull the camera from my phone onto my computer, and I record that. I can then simultaneously be recording my webcam. And if I really want to get crazy, I could even use the camera in my MacBook Air here, which probably isn't great, but it's not terrible, as a third camera angle, which is like wild. And the way you do this, like, you don't even have to have any special program to do this, which is like blowing my mind right now, because all you have to use is QuickTime, which is a default program that comes with all your Mac books and whatever Mac on the Mac OS operating system, and you just have to figure out how to run multiple instances of QuickTime, and then you can queue multiple recordings off those multiple instances. So I'll quickly show you. I'm kind of curious how this will work, because I'm recording this video right now not through QuickTime. This is through Loom, because this allows me to do this thing here, and so I can show you my desktop and all that. But in any case, so if you have a Mac, you can open your QuickTime player, go to File, New Movie Recording, and you will see a video source. And what you'll notice, if you have this drop down, You can pick however many cameras you have available. So I can click, let's see. So right now I'm iPhone camera is what's turned on that you're looking at there. I have my FaceTime HD camera. That's on my laptop, which is there. Okay. And then I might break the internet here by choosing my Pro webcam because that's recording on this other thing. But let's just see if this, holy shit, like it's crazy. I'm in two places, recording off the Loom and recording off QuickTime simultaneously. I haven't broken the internet. So there you have it, folks. But anyway, the point being, I can do that. Let me just go back here. I can have this, and then if I to open there apparently used to, if you read the internet articles about this, there used to be a way to duplicate this app file in your applications folder, like by right-clicking. There used to be an option to say duplicate this. There's an option that says copy, but I tried that, and you can't copy and paste that file. You can copy it, but I don't know where you can paste it because it did not let me do that anywhere. But what you can do is use your terminal window, do your spotlight search for terminal, and use this command open-in-a with the single quotes around QuickTimePlayer.app. Hit enter or return or whatever, enter I guess. And you get a second instance of QuickTime Player. You can do new movie recording as such. And boom, now you see I have two different movie recording windows set up, and I can change this input. Let's put this one back on my phone. All right, so look at that. Man, I'm this is crazy. I'm like all over the place on this screen. Like, got your main view here. I got iPhone view up kind of a little bit higher up, and then I've got my laptop that's just sitting down on my desk looking up at my fat face. So, yeah, you could conceivably record all three of these just using, and I did that. This is what I just did for the podcast. I can record each of these windows, do my thing, roll it out, and then stop them, and then you save them, and then you got two separate files. And, then you can drop those into whatever sort of an editor type program you want to use and go to town doing your multi-track editing. So I tried it with the two cameras and it didn't have any problems. I don't think. I haven't watched those videos entirely. Some people said that you might run into issues of overloading the computer, and maybe it would start to drop frames, but I don't think. This is not like a 4K recording or anything. It's just 1080p, I think, and conceivably, I should be able to record all three of these camera sources that I have, and I'd have to set my laptop up somewhere a little bit, more flattering than from the bottom-up sort of view, I guess. I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. But, yeah, I have three different video sources, so I thought that was pretty little neat trick there with the old Macs. I think that is something I definitely do like about going the Mac route. I was a PC guy for many years and converted to Macs last year, I guess. I finally got a MacBook Air, and as well converted to getting a iPhone from using Android for many years. And stuff like this, I guess, is why people really enjoy it, because it's just kind of easy to do, and you don't need a bunch of complex third-party softwares to do that kind of stuff. So anyway, just thought I'd share that little tidbit. Oh, one other thing before I let you go was Russell Brunson shattered my dreams today. On another episode of the Marketing Secrets podcast, he was still on a rant talking about, the ins and outs of getting started and building a business. And that, again, it's really all about building a list and how do you build a list profitably. And, don't just think you can rely on Facebook ads to solve all your problems, and et cetera, et cetera. And again, he was like, a big thing that he sees people struggle with is they're not picking the right target audiences. And he's like, you have to find an audience that is already buying whatever you think you might be wanting to sell, and like that they're really ravenous, as he put it. I'm not sure I would use that word, but a very eager audience that's really out there searching for and already buying the product or the service that you think you can offer. Because by choosing that market, you at least know that there are people interested in what you're trying to offer. And all you have to do is figure out a way to, tweak your offer to be a little bit better than somebody else's, to try to, win some of those people over to you from whoever they're buying from right now. But at least they're buying. They're already spending money. So there's no reason why they couldn't spend the money with you as opposed to spending it with somebody else. As opposed to trying to go after a market for something that you can't really see that there's a lot of people interested in it, and you don't really know if anybody's even selling a similar type of thing. And I think a lot of people admittedly, have this false belief that, if I don't see somebody offering the product that I'm doing, like that should be a good thing. That means I don't have any competition and I can just go out and dominate the landscape. But, it's just like, the reality is that like 95% of the time that you don't see something in the marketplace is because there's nobody interested in buying whatever that thing is. And very few times are there, true breakthroughs in any marketplace where, like the iPhone doesn't happen all the time, right? The iPads don't happen all the time. Like those breakthrough type of inventions that, again, people prior to then didn't even know they wanted or that they needed, which today, now, obviously everybody has to have 5 of each of those. Those are very rare occurrences. And the vast majority of new businesses that are successful are simply ones that are trying to tap in to a market that already exists and just offering some, maybe slight nuance that's a little bit different, has some slightly different marketing pitch or whatever, to try to pull in customers, again, to your product or service, as opposed to them continuing to buy from somebody else. And that's that. I've heard them talk about that before. So, again, I've thought about that in my context of, I want to, my target audience is PhD engineers and scientists, or any PhD level kind of technical people, just broadly speaking. And the service, generally speaking, is kind of career development, coaching, this type of thing. Still got to figure out the details, but and I knew that, again, 10 years having been a PhD, I've not ever seen tons of marketing pushed my way for, hey, are you a PhD engineer? Because I want to sell you a better way to accelerate your career or something like that. That being said, I have since found like at least 2 companies I know of specifically that are doing that. And one of them for sure I can tell seems to be pretty successful. Has a decent number of employees and seems to be doing pretty well. So I know there is some market. Now, of course, I wouldn't say it's a huge market just because, number one, PhDs, say a big qualifier is people with PhDs. Well, that's obviously a much smaller pool than the whole of the earth or the whole of the population. And then you go down further from there to say engineers and scientists. Well, it's, again, even a smaller slice of the pie. But again, I'm trying to balance this, like going after, a good market while also following the similar guidance of, you got to niche down, because the riches are in the niches, all this sort of thing that people talk about. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to drill down and try to do that because that seems to be what they say is good. But anyway, the thing that Russell said that kind of was kick in the nuts was he specifically told a story about somebody that was in his inner circle, and he said specifically, he's like, hey, I got this guy, whatever his name was, Bob, and he's, came to me and he was trying to sell, I don't know, some coaching or a course to engineers for a way for them to get more money in their jobs or whatever. And I was like, oh, well, that sounds kind of similar to what I'm thinking. So please do tell more. Well, he goes on to say that he told this guy, he's like, oh, like that's a terrible idea because engineers are incredibly boring and they don't care about any of this stuff. Like they're not going to buy, like period. They're just not interested. They're not a very interested, ravenous, group of buyers. So like just don't even go after that market, period, because you can beat your head over the wall 1,000 times and it's probably never going to work out, because apparently this guy had been kind of working at it for some time and was not getting a lot of success. So, and according to Russell, he's like, he was doing everything right in terms of the marketing and all that, but he just wasn't getting any significant numbers of people to bite off on it, more or less. And he was like, his problem was that the market that he picked sucked. And given that that's a very similar market to the one I'm trying to pick, doesn't inspire a lot of confidence, I guess, in what I'm doing. But as I got to think about it more, I was just kind of like, I just need to kind of stick with this and play it out. I'm trying to do things differently in a way that will attract people that wouldn't necessarily typically be attracted to this type of service or product, as well as, really starting with a pretty low ticket kind of entry level offer. I mean, it is a subscription, so over a year, it's not exactly low ticket, but it's kind of a low barrier to entry to get people in the door. And if I can, entice enough people to at least kind of try it out, and if I can come up with a decent enough, newsletter product that keeps them interested, and my point of view is that if I can at least get them on the hook, and then to a professional engineer who's, making good six figures income, to them, paying an extra $47 for a membership when they're already paying like hundreds of dollars to various other technical societies and things that we do as PhDs engineers, like an extra $47 a month, or $500 over the course of a year, whatever that is, shouldn't really impact them too much. And if they see they're getting at least some benefit out of it. So that's my approach, and I just figure, what the hell, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing, and I don't know, maybe if I've been doing it consistently for 6 months and got 100 podcast episodes and 100, 200 videos and lots of social media content out there, and like I still got pretty much nil audience engagement, then maybe that's a reasonable time to shift gears a little bit, I guess. I don't know. So that is what it is. But nevertheless, it's getting late tonight, so I'm going to sign off for today. Hope you're doing well. Keep on kicking ass, taking names, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.